catch out the podcast anywhere podcasts are found: Apple, Google Play, Anchor, Stitcher, etc. So as we mentioned, we were talking about before the break, we were talking some Small Business Saturday, and the analytics are in from Adobe, and it was a successful Small Business Saturday. And it kind of leads me into something else I saw interesting over the week, Wayne, and that was a New York Post article about small business owners' goals for 2020.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah, good topic. So let's get into the goals.
So, really the biggest takeaway I saw from it was there was a study done by Vistaprint on 500 small business owners in the U.S., so I guess a pretty small sample size all in all, but still, they were looking for what's your top objective for 2020. And the number one thing that came out of it was substantially increasing revenue and growth and reaching new customers.
I think that again, not to speak for everyone, I think that's true of everyone right now, is how do I get more customers and how do I keep the ones I've got?
Absolutely.
So we have to look at that and say, okay, how can we do that, and what's the best way to do it? Let's think about that a second. Have you got any tips on what you think the goal should be? Based on that, how would you achieve that?
No, that is, I think, one, starting with the marketing audit and kind of figuring out where you are is not a bad way, for sure, to kind of at least get that level set of here's where we are, here's what's working, here's what's not. What channels should I be looking at for even just my industry?
Yeah, and even down to which channels are really working for me versus not, because you could be spending a lot of time pushing Instagram content that isn't really being engaged with. In which case, you're spending a lot of time and effort on something that isn't really giving you much back. So, just because you have an Instagram channel doesn't mean it's the best channel you've got. It just means you've got it. And you're populating it with a lot of content because it's easier, because you can just do it while you're on the fly with the phone. But if your engagement's not there, what is it really giving you? So again, having that audit in place and understanding that, looking at things like your website and your destination, is there room? We're not necessarily talking about building a brand new website, but is there a better optimized landing page I can take people to in order to get them to fill out a form so I can start getting requests in? Can I put some what I call lead to call ads through Google? In which case that will certainly improve my ability to get people in. And again, I think it's really important to understand that all your marketing is ultimately a driver to getting you contact with a potential customer.
That's a great point.
The intent of, and I'm going to use the word purchase, but it's the intent of purchase, whether that's your services or products or whatever. That's all your marketing can really do. Ultimately, you still have to close it.
Yeah,
and
how
you close that is, that could be over the phone. If it's over email, that's fine. If it's getting someone to add something to their cart and then buy it, you can only drive people to the destination. You can't force them to make that decision unless your content is good, unless your service speaks to their need, and really understanding your audience is going to be crucial.
Absolutely. It really is. It's interesting in that Vistaprint survey, they have a actually really nice, not surprisingly, kind of infographic in the article, but they asked, what's the most important marketing channel for the coming year?
Yeah, I'm not surprised by what they're saying. So here, folks, I think we'd all sort of say, what is the most important thing? Is it your social media? Is it your emails that you're putting out there? The irony is the most useful form of lead generation that you can do is word of mouth still. Absolutely.
It really is. And doing a good job, as you said earlier, is probably the biggest thing you can do.
Yeah. If you think about that audience, looking at all the channels, there is another part to that, which is your brand audit. Is like, what's how's your brand represented on those channels? How are you promoting your brand, your company on there? Is it the right tone for the audience you're going after? Are you approachable? Are you friendly? Do you have great reviews? And even something as simple as, how do I get my customers to give me reviews? And then how do I get those reviews into Google? These are also things and aspects of the marketing funnel that we can look at and give you advice on, or point you in the right direction, or even in some cases act as that extension of your team and help you achieve your goals for 2020, whether that's more customers, whether that's driving sales, whether that's increasing your revenue, whatever it is, we can help you achieve that. And you'll be surprised, a lot of the time it's not going to lead to, the first port of call will not be, oh, you need a new website.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, most of
ultimately,
it
could just be a landing page.
Yeah, for sure. And I think sometimes even just talking to the small business, sometimes or even walking through the business, you notice things that, hey, maybe as simple as, it's going to sound really kind of very, I guess, first-gen social media, but something my brother, who is not in marketing, who's actually a developer, programmer, mentioned when him and I owned our restaurant was, why didn't we print up something on the color printer and laminate it and put it out front by the door that had, review us on Foursquare or Yelp or this, a couple of things like that. And you would think with my background in marketing, that would have been the first thing I'd think of. But, sometimes you get so busy running your business, you don't see the...
It's sometimes the simple things that get missed. And something as simple as how you greet someone the moment they walk into your business, whether that's as an office or a store or a restaurant, those sort of things are crucial to getting people to come back and to say, hey, did you check out Kevin and Brothers restaurant down in Philly? Had a great meal there the other day. They're really nice. They come round and really treat you well. Well, that's how the word of mouth spreads. But if you go somewhere and I'm going to use Kevin again. Yeah. Hey, so I'm thinking of going to that Kevin and Brothers restaurant down in Philly. What do you think? I heard you went there. Yeah, you know what? I walked in, it felt a little dirty. The service was a bit slow. All of a sudden, you're starting to lose customers.
Always.
And it's that simple. And that could change just by thinking about not just your online presence, but also how your business is working, how you treat people when you're there, and then leveraging those reviews and those customer reviews to pull more people in. You can use that word of mouth aspect online to a degree to drive the same amount of customers in. Because if you're, first thing you do, if you're looking for a new pair of jeans that are not $150, you're going to Google things and you start looking for, I'm Christmas shopping right now, so I'm looking for products all the time for my kids or for my wife or whatever. I'm not going to say too much because it'll give it away. But I Google and I look at the reviews. If it's something I don't personally know a lot about, I'm going to trust people's reviews. And I will literally sit there and read through, and this is the irony, I'll read through 4 or 5 almost pages of reviews.
Oh, absolutely.
And if the majority is favorable, chances are I'm going to make that purchase. If the majority are negative, chances are I'm not going to make that purchase. So don't, something as simple as customer reviews can be the difference between success and failure.
It sure can. I actually really have a note here about small business reviews and the next generation of voice assistants. I was talking to someone at one of the kids' sporting events over the weekend. He was like, you know what, it'd be so nice if Alexa, Siri, insert, Google Assistant, any of them, would just actually be able to improve my life. Yeah. Instead of answering what's the weather, if it could tell me be the smart guy at work kind of thing. The guy that knows everything about where everything is, when I'm where are the keys to, or where's the password for, it would be do this or something of the sort. And something I actually said to somebody, and I think you and I had a conversation actually about it, was how nice would it be if the assistants could actually help me narrow down restaurant choices or something like that. If I was what's the best restaurant in, Skipback or something like that. Yep. All of a sudden, or what's the best restaurant in this section of Philly, or this section of the city, and it would mine review sentiment by velocity, how often they're coming in versus good or negative. Obviously not a simple task, but that's kind of what, in a sense you just said you're doing. You're taking all these recent reviews, you're looking at them in a sense of positive or negative. Is there a lot more, is the velocity of positive, really outweighing the negative? Yeah.
I'm seeing he's nodding my head like a nodding dog. You're right. And it's not an easy thing to do, but if you think about what there is behind those assistants, is really it's really spiders reaching out, grabbing the data. So all they'd have to do, based on your keywords, that's, hey, tell me the rankings of this particular restaurant. And I was looking at Alexa for in car, just as
Oh, interesting. I didn't know it had an in-car
yeah,
feature.
they have an in-car now. And I was like, well, that's great, but Alexa, how do I get to here? That's great.
Yeah.
Where it would be absolutely game-changing, not life-changing, game-changing, would be, hey, Alexa, you're driving along, you're out with the family. I need to find a good family restaurant locally. Give me the ones with the most positive reviews.
Yes.
And she goes, okay, there's Kevin and Brothers down in Philadelphia. There's Wayne and Smith's up at the, that is game changing. And yeah, you can do that through your Google Maps, but it's not very intuitive and it's not always the easiest.
No.
And it just finds the closest. So the reality is, if they can do it so it finds the closest, they should be able to write an algorithm that looks for those reviews.
Yes, if you're
And
a
if they
developer
can't,
out there.
and if you've got those ideas, come and talk to us, and we'll try to sell it to Google and make billions.
Insert evil laugh.
Yeah.
But really, actually, it is funny because I was out Christmas tree shopping yesterday, and that kind of led into exactly what I was thinking, because we got up early, get the family out the door, like the crack of dawn. It really wasn't the crack of dawn, but it was
10 o'clock, folks.
Yeah, it was actually 8 a.m., which is not the crack of dawn. Saturday we were out of the house at the crack of dawn. But so anyway, we drive out to this tree farm, cut your own kind of deal, and we get out there, and the cut your own section is closed.
Oh, joy.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
that's annoying.
45-minute ride out, get there, and you're like, oh, great. I wish I'd have known this ahead of time. Leave, because that was kind of the customer experience we were looking for. End up driving back. We had a whole bunch of stuff to do. Then later, late afternoon, we're back on the road looking
For a tree farm.
Yeah. So somebody sends us a recommendation. It's actually out in, what is it, Collegeville? Phoenixville. And the customer experience was awesome because of, well, a couple things.
It was open.
One, it was open. Two, they actually had cut your own tree, which I did, and we ended up not doing because I think we were all so hungry, which actually leads to a quick note on finding a restaurant. But they had free beer.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's every man's dream right there.
I have to say, I was, and it was, what's even better is it was a partnership with a local brewery, one I'd never heard of. So now I am.
So you're getting that cross promotion too.
Yes.
So you now know a local brewery that.
Yeah.
Hopefully you enjoyed the beer, because otherwise that'd be.
It actually made my day. It was one of those days where you leave the house at 8 a.m. and I don't think I would set foot back inside it for more than 5 minutes until 6 p.m.
Yeah, they're tough days.
And it was a really nice. I know it was ice cold. It was outside. We were walking around the tree place, and having a nice locally made beer could not be beat, honestly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So now I'm like, man, and the guy had his dog there. The dog was just a really, it was kind of what you would expect from a tree shopping experience. And I have to say, other than their website, which, hey, they're obviously doing a great business, and I love their website. It has an FAQ. Might be a great opportunity to do video.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, just sum up. Yeah, do I need to bring a saw? Well, yeah, again, you could do a video on that and so very quickly answer a lot of these in one video.
Yeah, then a few of the others, can I bring my dog? Do you have a tree shaker? Can you, put the tree on this stand? And it was cool. There were dogs there, people, free beer. And so I have to say to the Corcom Tree Farm, awesome job, great customer experience, and thanks for the great tree.
Yeah, interesting. And that came through word of mouth referral.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that hits that number one marketing channel.
Yeah.
So to the place that was closed, hey, I get it. We all could have tough times and stuff like that. But it actually, the point of the story I was leading into, which was a really long aside, but my wife and I are arguing or discussing
There's no arguments. This is a discussion. Yeah.
Choosing, the best restaurant, out in this area, because we were all starving, nobody had eaten. And she was like, well, you always find the best ones, but I was driving, so I really didn't have the ability to look and drive. And that's kind of where this idea of
voice search.
Yeah, because I was saying to her,
reviews.
I was like, here's what you have to do. You have to basically look for the velocity of positive reviews to negative, and then I'm trying to explain this all kind of almost algorithmically. And she's like, huh?
Just find me a restaurant, dude.
So, I'm going to give Google credit. The, search along route and tell me how many minutes is awesome.
Yes.
Now, if you could incorporate that into the voice assistant developers out there, it'd be even better and make my life much, much better. But we ended up going to a restaurant that was,
Yeah, it's a crapshoot, right? When you're driving along and you're in an area you don't know, it's a crapshoot.
It really is.
And you could alleviate that so easily by being able to search or do voice search with reviews.
Yeah, and that's kind of where the reviews become really important.
And it's actually where, back to your original point of the story, it's actually where the voice assistants actually help you rather than kind of help you.
Yes.
Yeah, I ask mine the weather every day, and it's only as good as a weather report, to be honest. So I never blame Alexa for bad weather. It's someone else's fault. They got the weather forecast wrong. But that is a very good functional use and something that can make a difference. And you tie that to restaurant reviews, try that to product reviews. Hey Alexa, find me a hand saw, or what's the best hand saw on the market today, and where can I get it? And it tells you what one it is, and it gives you directions to it. That's life changing.
It kind of is in some way, in a first world kind of thing. I guess that is a real life changer.
It is. Yeah, I keep saying life change. I'm interchanging between life changing and game changing, but it finds a more practical use for that technology. In my opinion.
And I think to kind of just wrap up the point. The big thing is reviews aren't going to go away. They'll actually probably only become more important as people start looking to use the algorithmically kind of pull data from Google and provide that kind of service. I mean, it's not far off.
No. I mean, it's reviews can make or break you. So again, I think we have we kind of gone off topic a few times here and there, but what we're trying to point to is exactly your point. The importance of reviews cannot be misunderstood or taken lightly. I think what you've got to do is look to how can I make it easier for me to get those reviews into the right place, because there's a good way to do it and a bad way to do it, like most things. And then as technology advances, and I'm sure it won't be long before they pick up on that idea too. They've probably already got it. We're just not using it correctly. It's just a case of those reviews are so crucial, and taking something as simple as making sure your reviews are in line, they're up to date, you've got them in all your various different channels that you need them in, can make a huge difference to your business.
No, absolutely. And I guess that's something is, one, you have to collect them, and two, use them as much as possible. I love when businesses use them as part of their social media strategy, incorporating it into Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, incorporating it either on the image itself, or have some kind of template where half is a solid color, your brand or something, and then a font you use, and then the person's testimonial who said it. Give me that little bit of kind of background information and use it everywhere. Then use that with video. Just very briefly before we go to the next break, take a video of the ambience of the restaurant if you're a restaurant owner, or have a video of you talking to a customer, something like that feels very natural. These are all things, little tricks that can make a difference, and how you express your brand, but also how customers are perceived by you and what the relationship is like. Absolutely. So I guess we're going to take a quick break, but before we do, remember, if you miss anything this morning on the radio broadcast, WWDB 860, or the live stream, you can catch the podcast on our website, SMBAcceleration.com, or anywhere podcasts are found. If you're a small business owner looking to accelerate their business growth, I recommend taking advantage of our small business marketing audit. The deal is remarkable, as our complete marketing and branding audits usually start around $2,500. We're giving you this same service for $99 through the end of the year. So, if you have any questions on the audit, give us an email at info@smbacceleration.com, or give us a call, 855-308-5825.
It's flying by today.
It is.
Oh, my ear's being pinched. So where are we gonna...
We're going to analytics.
Okay, yeah, again. Sorry for the live feed if we haven't been ignoring you.
You get the background in Wayne and I having a quick drink. The pink cement.
Pink cement.
Pink cement, and back to it. It doesn't look like it's going to Restream now. I don't know why. Does Ecamm have a website?
Yeah, they do.
I don't know if we have to do it today.
Not sure.
We're back. This is the SMB Acceleration Show. I'm Kevin O'Brien. I'm with Wayne Middleton. We're live on WWDB 860, live streaming YouTube, Facebook, Periscope. And if you missed anything today, you can catch the podcast wherever podcasts are found. So, as I mentioned before the break, start accelerating your business for less than a good cup of coffee a day. And what's that mean? We're currently running an awesome special. You get the first step to improving your business for 96% off. Request your small business marketing audit today. So Wayne, I know we kind of went off on a number of things, but something we wanted to get to, and I think is kind of really tied into the holiday season for retailers of all sort, brick and mortar or digital, is Google Analytics. And it's kind of something that makes me think is maybe the most misunderstood or least understood free small business marketing tool.
Yeah, I'd agree. Data is near and dear to my heart, certainly. It helps me create great websites, but also beyond that, it helps me ensure that I reach our customers with the correct stuff. So it is definitely one of those tools that I can talk to probably 10 or 20 different owners of small businesses, both online and offline, and say, hey, are you running Google Analytics? And most of them will say yes. But are they running it right? And then are they reading the data right is a very different thing. So
yeah. I mean, what percentage, it'd be interesting to know, one, what percentage have Google Analytics? It's probably 90% now.
In fact, we're going to run a survey on our site and on LinkedIn and then anywhere you can find surveys. We're going to run a survey and we're going to ask this question of all the small businesses is how many of you are running Google Analytics? And then I think we should have a follow-on question from that, which is how useful is the data? Because I think 9 times out of 10 what they're actually doing is misinterpreting the data or not looking at the data in the right way.
I would agree. I actually wonder how many people actually even look at the data.
Yeah, for us, if you think about it, how many times are you in Google Analytics a day?
Probably at least once or twice.
And for how long is each of those sessions?
That's a good, that depends. If I'm just starting out helping somebody, it tends to be longer. If I've already been doing it, or as for myself, I actually try and push a lot to Google Data Studio.
Yep.
So that I can kind of visualize it quickly.
Well, there you go. Google actually offers a really good suite of data visualization as well as the analytics. And again, it's all about setting it up correctly. A lot of people won't know about the Visual Data Center.
Yeah.
And that's, again, it's a free tool from Google that they do to help you see data a little more clearly and easier, so you're not getting overwhelmed by what's in analytics. So
yeah, there's one part of analytics I haven't really tried, but that has the new search bar at the top where you can ask it almost conversational type questions. I can't say too often know what I'm trying to go look for. But it is interesting for someone who is not familiar with Google Analytics to be able to say, what is this? Or what changed on, how's my traffic from last month? Or
compared to this month. Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, it's all about trying to provide a better experience for you guys who are using it. So, let's get into Google Analytics a little bit more. There are definitely, it's for someone coming into it, it's a lot of data to understand.
Absolutely. I think that's the intimidating side of it, is that there's so much to it.
Yeah, and it's the way it's visualized is good for someone who understands it. And trust me, I sat through the courses, the training, the certification, much the same as you have. And there are still things that even now I struggle to find or I've forgotten how to do because it's not a common task. So, let's get into things to look at for small business and how to improve what they're doing.
Yeah,
just
I think,
top level.
The top level thing you got to really start at by understanding is, some of the terminology you're going to see used within, Google's documentation, and also, when searching articles that people are going to, you have to kind of understand those,
phrases
and words that are, relative to it. And in this case, when you start out, it's dimension and metric. Dimension being whatever you're kind of measuring. And the case that Google had, their example was the dimension city, indicates the city, i.e. Philadelphia, Baltimore, Newcastle, Delaware, Wilmington, Emmaus, Allentown, whatever it is. So that's your dimension. So when you're looking at it, you're looking at the city that this thing happened in, for this example, or something along that. And then the metric is the quantitative measurement. So a simple example would be you had, 10 users from, Philadelphia yesterday.
Yeah, so again, just to reiterate, a dimension is it's what you're looking at. So it could be a page, it could be a city, it could be the website as specific page on the website, specific piece of content. It really speaks to a specific thing. Then your metric is whatever follows.
Yeah.
It tells you what percentage or what number of events or elements or attributes are attributed to that dimension.
Yes, and so that's the basic, and I think people get that. You can see, city, and then all these relative types of numbers. But just, as we were mentioning, for when you're trying to understand a little more, you're always going to see it referred to dimension and metric.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you really need to understand is the difference between users, sessions, and hits.
Yes.
And I think that's very often misunderstood.
Yep.
And we're going to use Google's definitions, I guess, because that way it's most consistent. If you go start digging through Google's knowledge base, at least you are kind of on this path. So users per Google are people who interact with your property, i.e. your website or application. For most people, that's going to be their small business website.
Yep.
So a user is, one person that is taking action.
Yeah, a single individual. Yep.
Yep. And then sessions are interactions by a single user. Here's Google's definitions is interactions by a single user are grouped into sessions. So one person that visits your website 5 times could have 5. That user has 5 sessions.
Yep.
And then to take it to the next level is hits. Hits are interactions during a session, and hits include interactions like viewing a page, taking an event or an event happening on a website, a transaction,
a click, or
playing a video, filling out a contact form.
Yep.
So you can have multiple hits within a session, and then multiple sessions to one user.
Yep.
So it's almost like the user's the top of the pyramid, then you have sessions underneath, then hits kind of filling out the base of the pyramid.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to do it. A very simple little pyramid illustration. Yeah, I like that. And when you're there, it's like, okay, well, once we're in, let's talk about the hits we've kind of covered. Their clicks, their searches, their completions of forms, tabbing, all that kind of stuff. And it's all how you set up the data to record. User behavior, once you get into that, that's a really interesting avenue. That's how someone is really engaging with your site during a session.
It is. And, as far as the behavior, Google writes, again, a hit. The behavior confined to a single example. For example, viewing a page or starting a video. So as we were saying, that's pretty simple. A hit, the person can have multiple hits. Hopefully you're hoping they do have multiple hits within a single session. And then a session is the behavior within a single session. For example, the goals that users completed during a session or the amount of revenue they generated during a session. So again, it's that single time that they're on your site, start to end. And then the user level of behaviors you can target are behavior across all sessions within the date range you're viewing. So you have up to 90 days, 180 days, and that's kind of where the audiences come into play and really starting to understand how many times people have to visit your website, maybe on average, to complete a sale.
Yep.
Because, that's one of those things that too often, that we get skewed by looking at small data where one person may have come one time and converted, and then you're convinced that that's what it takes. But you may, by looking at 2 years of the data, and if it's correct, that it actually takes on average 3.5 visits for the 80% of the people to convert.
Yeah, again, you gotta. It's so easy to go down that rabbit hole to get down to that small nitty gritty detail, but you can't just solely go, okay, in this one instance, this one use case, this person did this, so that's what I'm going to change everything on my site to do. No.
Yeah. No, exactly.
you got to take the whole, and you got to look at the bigger picture, almost that 10,000 foot view, and ask yourself, okay, looking at this data over the last 2-3 years, is that pathway the same for all the users? Is that the same kind of interaction point I'm seeing for everyone? And I almost guarantee if it is, you're doing a great job, because 9 times out of 10 it's not going to be that at all. And so this is where we get into understanding what does good look like in terms of Google Analytics from a small business point of view. What sort of things would you look at?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is contact forms filled out by, was it MQLs, I guess, to use a terrible acronym.
Yeah, and for those who do not know what MQL is we term it as marketing qualified lead. I'm going to go against the grain here and say, okay, a marketing qualified, what does that mean? Well, for me, it's someone who's shown an intent to do something. Mm-hmm. Beyond that, they're not really a lead as such. No. They are still in that visitor, stranger kind of bracket for me. They're at my site, they've done something. Great. Now, how do I value that? That depends on what they've done.
True.
So for your case, they filled out a form that shows an intent to contact you, an intent to purchase to a certain degree. If someone's coming on an e-commerce site and they've clicked on a product, that doesn't mean they've really just shown that you have a product that speaks to them. Until you can follow that lead from that product view all the way through to the final close of that sale, are they truly a converted customer? So you have to take that whole pathway.
Exactly, and I wouldn't want to just say contact forms, because with the amount of spam everyone seems to
get. It could be an email subscription, it could be a download.
Exactly. So, it's the contact form or that phone call where they're like, I want to do business, or I need more information about your service.
And our website actually says this: clicks are great, calls are better. And the reason that's true is because you can't argue that a direct-to-call action. No,
absolutely. If you can get somebody in today's day and age to pick up a phone,
you're doing something really, really very special.
No, absolutely. And I know, what, we could probably get into this next week a little bit more in depth, and kind of into how you work with your marketing and all. But I really think that Google Analytics is extremely important, and definitely something that everyone should consider. And if you are not sure, give us a call or email, and we'd be happy to check if you have analytics running correctly on your site. So I guess that's all the time we have today, Wayne.
It went fast, folks.
It really did. And a big shout out to Dan for all his help getting me set up this morning and getting the live stream working, making us sound much better than we actually do. So for everybody listening on WWDB 860 or via the live stream, we appreciate it. And remember, if you missed anything, you can get the podcast wherever the podcasts are found. Or visit our website, SMBAcceleration.com. If you're a small business owner looking to accelerate their business growth, don't forget about our small business marketing audit until the end of the year for $99. Remember, it's remarkable, as this audit usually starts at $2,500. So, thanks to everybody.